I cried at the dentist last week. It was the second time this summer Dr. Hunt had put a filling in the same tooth. It's not that things didn't go okay. I sang Mary Had a Little Lamb to myself through the Novocaine shots, and only panicked once when I had that feeling that I wasn't going to be able to swallow, resulting in a minor crying jag and a brief delay in the proceedings. And when the drilling and pressing and fitting and flossing was done, and after 5 or 6 bite tests, because a bad bite on a new tooth is enough to send me through the roof, the filling was fitting in, it was holding. But when I wandered out to the reception area after the procedure, left side of my face sagging, and Pam, the receptionist, asked me if I'd like to pay now, I said, no, actually, I would not like to pay. This is the same filling Dr. Hunt gave me a month ago. Seems like it should have lasted longer. Another tear was slipping out of my eye, and I wondered why my fear in the dentist chair had gotten worse, not better, over the years. Pam paused over her keyboard and said, hold on, disappearing behind a wall. I stared in a daze at the TV screen. Des Moines newscasters were covering hurricane weather in some other part of the world. As I clutched my purse, tempted to shove a finger in my mouth to prevent myself from accidentally biting the inside of my own face, Pam returned to her chair. Dr. Hunt hadn't put the charges in yet, and she says, you can just go. No charge today. I choked out a warbly, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And then I went and had another good cry in my car. Change is hard, but changes in my mouth are excruciating. Pause that thought. Sometimes when I go to the dentist, they ask me, do you grind your teeth at night? Are you a night grinder? And I say, no, I do it during the day. I'm a day grinder. And I'm fully aware of it. The confused response is usually something like, oh, okay, well, you should try and stop that. We're seeing some wear and tear on your teeth, and the right incisor here is a little bit loose. No shit, I'll say in my not out loud voice. But what I want to say is, I can't stop. I won't stop. It's all I have left some days. It's the final compulsive tic that remains from a destructive behavior I developed as a child. And if you take that from me, I might very well implode. That one tiny grind, that one safe grind I still do, is the Nicorette gum of an addictive habit that I don't even remember why I started. I don't recall why. There wasn't a specific reason why, but I do recall when. It was 1982. I was sitting in the living room of our old house on Storm Street and Stanton Avenue. I was on the footstool. Mom and Dad were on a puce green Davenport. Other siblings were floating around somewhere nearby in various states of Sunday night homework. We were watching a new show called The Phoenix on our black and white TV, a science fiction series that premiered the week before. The fascinating plot revolved around an ancient extraterrestrial called Bennu of the Golden Light, who was discovered in a sarcophagus in Peru and awakened into the 20th century. Bennu was super hot. Even my first grade self knew that. Bennu had a habit of rising from a ball of golden flames in the middle of the desert, wearing nothing but a loincloth, his golden hair glistening. He healed children. He carried people away from danger. He pulled kittens out of trees. Women flocked to his side. The agony, the mystery, the heroism, supernatural beauty like I'd never witnessed. The show only lasted a month. But it was during the second episode that I, for the first time, began to chew on my own teeth. There was a thrill of a new pressure I discovered on my gums, there was the tightness of bone pressing on bone, and with a little pain came a hit of some kind of endorphin. With that hit came the urge to do it again, and again, and again, and the sickening curiosity of how far I could take it, until I heard a crack, and a moment later was holding a tiny piece of my own tooth in my hand. Heart beating near panic, my face suddenly 1,000 degrees, my tongue searched for evidence of the missing piece. Front right tooth, small chip from the corner. I showed my mom, my hand shaking. She didn't understand what just happened. I didn't understand what just happened. You'd think that would have scared me off it, that I would never do it again, but the compulsion continued. For months, for years. More pieces of tooth broke off, 3 pieces, 4 pieces. Walking out of Dr. Van Tassel's office one afternoon in 1985, I broke off the veneer he had just patched onto my front tooth moments before, from grinding, broke it clean off. I had to test it, you see. I just had to know if it would hold. It didn't. With a loud crack that echoed inside my head, I pulled the piece out of my mouth, my stomach turning in tight knots. I was sent back to the dentist's chair. This was not how my mom wanted to spend her day. This was not how I wanted to live my life. I told myself it had to stop now. It just had to. I drew myself an affirmation on a Post-it note and put it on the headboard of my bed. It was an illustration of lips smiling wide, accompanied by the message, meditate, it will help your teeth. Meditation was something we learned as a family. If left to my own devices, I probably wouldn't have done it, but it was part of our family schedule, part of the routine. We were asked every day before breakfast by parents, have you meditated? And if we hadn't, we were sent back to our rooms, hoping when we reemerged there would still be some Wheaties left at the bottom of the box. During a particularly active period of tooth grinding, meditating seemed like the only tool I had to cling to, the only way I knew how to help myself. And for a few days, weeks even, I meditated without parental prompting. Somewhere I knew that this tooth-chipping addiction was some sort of anxiety coming out sideways. Was it the anxiety I felt in a household that wasn't terribly happy? The anxiety I sponged off a father who was also struggling and stressed? The anxiety of leaving behind a safe neighborhood and all of our best friends in the world to move to a town where the high school kids shot BBs through our windows and egged our house? Or was it just the anxiety I walked in with? The anxiety I brought with me in my extraterrestrial sarcophagus when I was forced to awaken into the 20th century. When that same piece came off my tooth again in high school from grinding, I just left it. I left it and I left it. You had to look pretty close to notice, but a large portion of the face of that tooth was missing, shaved off like a chunk of glacier exposed to too much hot air. Over the years, it began turning yellow, and I got used to hiding my smile. In 2003, my acting agent in Chicago told me it didn't matter how talented I wasn't going to get any auditions if I didn't have a headshot that showed my teeth. The veneer I have now on that tooth is still holding tight. It is bright. It is white. It is like Bennu of the golden light rising from the ashes, saving kittens. It makes for a pretty good smile. But I still have that one little grind I do. That one little safe grind, sliding my bottom teeth against the back of my top teeth, controlled. No specific tooth gets more pressure than the others. The force of it is spread out. The pressure is balanced. My teeth click quietly inside my gums. It's slowly wearing my bite away. But please, don't ask me to stop. Thanks, guys.